Hello, it's time to read another story. Let's put our hands together. Here we go. A story, a story, a story, a story. Let it in and let it out. Okay, let's get out a book. I have one right here. It's in my bag, so we gotta sing the bag song. Here we go. Bag, bag, in my bag. I got a lot of stuff in my bag. I got a book in that's not a book. What is this? It's Kermit, right? What kind of animal is Kermit? Yep, he's a frog. He's a frog. He's green. It's not a book. Okay, let's put him right here. He's gonna kind of peek out. Okay. Bag, bag, in my bag. I got a lot of stuff in my bag. I got a book in my... That's not a book. You know what this is? It's a mask. Yeah, it's a mask for going outside, huh? And staying healthy. Mine goes on like this. Goes over my ears. Do you see it? Let's see, maybe I can get a little closer. Do you see on mine? It has some leaves, some berries, I believe. Oh, some more berries. My friend Sarah made it for me. I don't always wear it when I'm inside, but I wear it when I go to stores. Do any of you have a mask that you wear when you go to stores right now? Maybe you wear it when you go outside on a walk. Anyway, these masks are very helpful. They kind of look different though, don't they? Yeah. I like mine because it has pie on it. Okay, we gotta read a book. Bag, bag, in my bag. I got a lot of stuff in my bag. I got a book right there. Oh, do you see what's on it? Let me move my chair closer. It is called Frog and Toad Together. Oh, we talked about a frog. We have that frog over there. We saw leaves. There's some leaves on this. They're together. And they're good friends. Have you ever seen a frog before outside? It is springtime, although right now in Omaha today, I'm reading this story and there's a lot of snow. It doesn't feel like spring, but it's pretty nonetheless. I like these books. Should we read it? These are the Frog and Toad books. And this book actually was one of mine when I was very little, so it's very special. This story is called A List. One morning, Toad sat up in bed. I have many things to do, he said. I will write them all down on a list so that I can remember them. Toad wrote on a piece of paper, a list of things to do today. And then he wrote, wake up. He's writing his list in his bed. And he says, I have done that. And so Toad crossed off wake up on his list. Do any of you make lists? Especially now, things are so wild, they're so different, and I think having lists helps me. And I wrote a list actually. I'll use my bookmark right here. I like sticky notes. I have a list right here. I used a marker, and I have my notebook paper. Any paper will do. Sometimes I use a very little one, but I have a big notebook I wrote down. And I wrote, just like Toad had written, a list of things to do. And I wrote wake up, when I crossed that off, and I wrote drink coffee. It's the first thing I crossed it off, and I wrote walk Max. Max is my dog. Crossed that off, I did that. I got dressed, I have on my clothes. I had a 9 a.m. meeting. I did that. I crossed that off. I had work to do. I crossed that off. And then I wrote, read a book. Well, you know, we're doing that right now. I should probably just cross that off. Do you see? I did it right there. Read a book. The next thing I have on there is help Finn with homework. Oh, Finn is... I did help him with his homework today. Cross that off. Well, you know what? I right now I'm just focused on reading a book, so I'm going to go back to that. I do have a list. But I asked you, do you have a list at home too, where you have things you have to do? Maybe you have things for school, or maybe you have chores to do. Maybe you have pets. Maybe you have younger siblings in your house, or that you help take care of. What are some other things? Maybe you have grandparents and great aunts. Maybe you have neighbors you take care of. Anyone, if you don't have animals in the house, do you have animals outside? Do you feed the birds? I love birds. I feed them all the time. So anyway, it's nice to think about the things that we help and lists to make. But since reading a book was on my list, I better finish it. So here we go. And sometimes making lists really helps in times when there's just so much time to do things. You want to make sure you get everything done. Then Toad wrote other things on the paper. Oh, just like I did. Eat breakfast, get dressed, go to Frog's house. Frog is his best friend. Take a walk with Frog. Walks are so good. Eat lunch, take a nap, play games with Frog, eat supper, and go to sleep. There, said Toad. Now my day is all written down. He got out of bed. He had something to eat. And Toad crossed out. Got something to eat. He crossed out eat breakfast. Toad took his clothes out of the closet and put them on. Then he crossed out get dressed. Can we all take our pen, our pretend pen in our hand, and let's all cross out get dressed. I wonder what's next on this list. Toad put the list in his pocket. I keep mine on my desk right over here. He opened up the door and he walked into the morning. Soon Toad was in front of Frog's front door, and he took the list from his pocket and he crossed out go to Frog's house. Pretty happy, doesn't he? Yeah. See, Frog and Toad do everything together. They ride bikes. What's this? They look like they're... Oh, that's from the story of the seeds. Toad knocked on the door. Hello, said Frog. Look at my list of things to do, said Toad. Oh, said Frog. That is very nice. And Toad said, my list tells me that we will go for a walk. All right, said Frog. I'm ready. What's the difference between Frog and Toad in this picture? Frog is green. Frog is taller. Toad is brown. He's shorter. Their eyes look a lot alike. Their mouths look a lot alike. You see how big the leaves are? I love it. All right. Frog and Toad went on a long walk. Then Toad took the list from his pocket again and he crossed out, take a walk with Frog. And just then there was a strong wind and it blew the list out of Toad's hand and the list blew high into the air. Can we all make a big wind sound? Ready? 1, 2, 3. See the list flying, flying, flying far away. What face would you make if your very important list that you had made and put so much work into was flying away? My face might look like this. Or maybe it would look like this. Or maybe it might look like this. Like really mad. Everyone make a mad face. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And everyone make, my mad face is kind of silly, I think. And then everyone make a really surprised face. And then everyone make a really sad face. Help! cried Toad. "My list is blowing away. What will I do without my list?" He was so worried because his list told him everything he was supposed to do. "And hurry," Frog said. He was a very good friend. He said, "Let's run and go catch it." And they ran. But Toad said, "No, I cannot do that." And Frog said, "Why not?" "Because," wailed Toad, "running after my list is not one of the things that I wrote down on my list." Frog ran after the list anyway. He ran over the hills and the swamps, but the list blew on, and at last Frog came back to Toad. "I am sorry, but I cannot catch your list, Frog. I cannot catch your list, Toad." It is hard being an adult sometimes because we make mistakes all the time. Did you know that? Toad was so upset, wasn't he? But Toad didn't want to go after the list because it wasn't on his list, was it? Let's look at my list. I wrote eat lunch and drink more coffee and write letters. But you know what's not on my list? My list didn't include petting my dog. If that's not on my list, can I still do it? Okay. What are some things that you might want to add on to your day? Like, can I tell you what wasn't on my list from yesterday was playing in the snow? But it snowed. And so I'm going to play in the snow whether it's on my list or not, because that is a really fun thing to do. But it's hard when you have a plan and the plans change. I find that hard. I cannot remember any of the things that were on my list to do. I will just have to sit here and do nothing, said Toad. And Frog sat with him. And after a long time, Frog said, "Toad, it is getting dark. We should probably be going to sleep." "Go to sleep," said Toad. That was the last thing on my list. And Toad wrote on the ground with a stick, "Go to sleep." And then he crossed out, "Go to sleep." "There," said Toad. "Now my day is all crossed out." "I'm glad," said Frog. Then Frog and Toad went to sleep. So, even though Toad was really good about making a list of things to do, he learned that he has to try to do things that aren't always on the list, and he also did stick to his list because he remembered what he wanted to do, right? Well, I'm going to write on my list, play in snow. I'm going to do that right after we say goodbye. Thank you so much, friends. And I look forward to reading another story with you. Thank you for staying safe, and thank you for always being creative, and thank you for spending your time with your friends and family. Okay, read on.